Hello, everybody. So this is Allie Phillips, and we're going to be talking today about how we can help our stressed pets. So this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and it is a very timely topic and one that I felt very drawn to talk about at this point in time in July of 2020 with all that we're going through with the energy. So anything I'm going to talk about is not intended or meant to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease, but I'm going to talk a lot about energy, how our pets are responding to it. I'm going to talk about things that you can do and essential oils that are very beneficial to our pets right now and to us. So just a little bit about me. I have been an attorney for 25 years. I am a former prosecutor, focusing my entire legal career in the field of criminal prosecution and specializing in family violence and animal abuse and how they link together. I have written a couple of animal protection books. You can actually find them on Amazon, and I have received some awards for them. Throughout my legal career, I have spent, oh my goodness, 22 of those years training criminal justice professionals. I've worked for the National District Attorneys Association. I've traveled the world training. I created the National Center for Prosecution of Animal Abuse, which was the first of its kind in this country. For over 20 years, I have been working with animal shelters and have been an animal advocate for shelter pets and abused and neglected animals. I was a lobbyist for several years in Washington, D.C., heading up the Legislative Office for American Humane. I am the founder and CEO of Sheltering Animals and Families Together, which is a global nonprofit working to help domestic violence shelters create on-site pet housing. And then on the flip side, in my multiple careers that I have going on, I am the owner of Manifested Harmony, which is my energy healing and wellness business. I am a certified health coach. I am certified as a master teacher, energy healer in 3 different modalities. I'm an essential oil educator. I've been invited to speak by Young Living Corporate about oils and pets on 3 different occasions, which was a tremendous honor. And I know cats, but I work with all animals, including donkeys and horses and exotic animals. So that's just a little bit about me and why I'm passionate about this topic, because it's all about animals. And so if you haven't gotten my book yet, The Oily Pet, which now has a new cover, it has my kitty Rudy on it, who is actually staring at me at this moment. All about how to safely use essential oils with cats and dogs. And then The Oily Crystal, which is the newest book, only about 2 months old. And it is a really big seller. People are loving that one. And it's all about safe blending of essential oils and crystals for people and pets. All right, let's just dive in. Let's dive into this energy shift and how it is really impacting our pets. So this energy shift, seriously, I could talk about this for a full day, but I'm really going to keep this webinar to an hour, which is still longer than I want it to be, but this really is a big topic because the energy shift has really been happening since about 2011. Since November 11th of 2011, it's the big 11-11-11 energy portal. And that's when everything really started to shift, and it shifts in a variety of reasons, which I'm going to go through in the next slide. But a lot of things are happening in the planet, in our universe, in all the multiverses that we have, and things are happening with us as human beings and with animals. And this all really picked up speed in 2017, in January of 2017 to be specific, and then changed dramatically this year in 2020. So think back to New Year's. I mean, just 6 months ago. Did we ever think that we would be in a pandemic? I mean, we probably never even thought about it. Like those words, pandemic, never were uttered by us. Shelter in place it was not even a phrase. Social distancing, never heard of it. But when we look at what's happening around the planet, these are the things that we're reacting to and our pets are reacting to. But there's actually, according to the World Health Organization, there's about 15 disease outbreaks on the planet right now. And SARS-CoV-2, which results in COVID-19 as the symptoms, is just one of the 15. So ever since birth, we are surrounded by viruses and bacteria and pathogens. I could just do a whole webinar on the response to COVID-19, and I really should do that. So this virus is not new, but it has dramatically changed our world, and our pets are feeling it. But what is new is the energy and how we're responding to world events. And whether you are an energy practitioner or you consider yourself a light worker, bringing light to the world, or you specialize sticking your head in the sand because you'd rather live in your happy place, or you just know that something is different, we are shifting into a new energy, and pretty much everyone is feeling it. And animals can really feel it. So this time in history has a lot of people concerned. You know, we have no idea what will happen financially, or to our health, or to kids' schooling, or to those who have hands-on businesses like energy healers and massage therapists. You know, what's going to happen to travel, to our elderly family members? You know, I have a mom in an assisted living facility. You know, and people are concerned that they're being silenced. Do you wear a mask? Do you not wear a mask? We don't know what's true anymore, and companies and governments seem okay with slowly poisoning us through food and water and air. So this has really created quite a roller coaster. It's all come to a perfect storm, and we don't know when it's going to end. But this energy that we're in is actually called the Great Awakening. Some people call it the Ascension or the energy shift. And in the energy light worker world, we actually weren't sure if this would happen in our lifetime. So it's actually exciting to watch the positive aspects of it. The pandemic is not a positive aspect, but we're excited to see people waking up. But it really is impacting our pets because emotions are all over the board with people. You know, some people are doing fantastic and they're thriving, and other people are in a full-on panic and this is a catastrophe. And all of this impacts the pets that we love, because we, at the end of the day, are all changed. When you think back to New Year's Day 2020, our entire world has changed, including that for pets. But pets are the ultimate copycat. So in the comments, tell me how many pets that you have, and I'd love to know their ages. So, you know, feel free to do that while I'm talking. So there are several ways that pets take on energy that actually may not be good for them. I talk about this in all of my energy healing classes for pets. I teach 3 different modalities that all involve pets. And kind of the short story is that pets take on our energy. I think we all know that, you know, because we love animals, we're surrounded by them, and we know that they take on our energy. So if we're struggling, they're going to struggle too. Pets can also, I mean, when they take on our energy, we actually may act alike and look alike. I mean, have you ever been told that you and your pet look alike or you act alike? So that's a picture of me and my cat Sammy taken in the year 2000. Sammy is no longer with me, but I had him for 14 beautiful years. And we actually won a look-alike contest in a newspaper. But one thing about Sammy was that he was really tapped into my energy. And when I was stressed, he was stressed. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. But pets take on our energy, and they can also take on the energy of a community. So what has been happening just locally for all of us? Protests, Some of us have had riots. There are people that are angry about having to wear masks. There are people who are fearful, and they're all around us. I mean, just here where I live last week, somebody lost their life over a mask. And another person, an elderly man, was stabbed over a mask. I mean, this energy has gotten so out of control. But pets can take on the energy of a community because everything in this planet is energy, and it influences us whether we recognize it, but we certainly feel it, and our pets feel it because they are so much more in tune with the energy than we are. And they're also influenced by Wi-Fi, by electromagnetic frequencies, because we don't know what this unseen energy, this Wi-Fi that I actually am working off of right now, like, where is it coming from? Like, how is it impacting the air, the energy around me, my pets, my cats? How is it impacting us? We don't know, and nobody wants to study it because I think they're afraid of what they're going to find out. But that can actually impact us. And then pets feel the energy changes in the planet. We all know this because when there is a dramatic weather event, like an earthquake, a tsunami, a tornado, they know to get to safe ground. I mean, we know this. They feel it in the ground. And one thing that I really learned early on is pets will take on all of this energy from us, from the community, from technology, from the planet. They will take it on, whether it's good, bad, or diseased. And with us in particular, they will take it to spare us from hard times. That is their soul mission, is to be here to serve. So when someone needs help with their anxious pet, I usually find an anxious person. And when somebody needs help with a pet that constantly vomits and we've ruled out a medical condition or food as the issue, I usually find a person with digestive orders. So have you ever had your pet come to you when you're sick or pay unusual attention to you right before you get sick or maybe have a concerning diagnosis? Because I've had that happen a lot, and I actually get concerned when they come to me because it's like, what's going on with me? Because they stick to me like glue when I'm not well. So our pets mimic our energy for better or for worse. They mimic the energy of the community and the planet and everything around them. So this presentation is all about what we can do in their best interest to keep the energy around them healthy and safe, because their lives literally depend on us staying well and creating a sacred space for them. So let me tell you about Sammy. When I was living in the Washington, D.C. area, working as an attorney, traveling all over the country, teaching prosecutors, I was constantly on and off airplanes, and it really destroyed my health. I loved my work. I still love doing it. I don't do it nearly to the extent that I used to, and certainly not now in a pandemic. I haven't been on an airplane in 9 months, and it seems bizarre. But I would come home very stressed, and Sammy, within 60 seconds, would just vomit at my feet. And so I was taking him back and forth to the veterinarian, trying to figure out what's wrong. Did he eat something? Is it his food? They couldn't find any medical reason. They even wanted to surgically open him up to look. And I'm like, no, you're not going to do that. That's ridiculous. And through my energy healing training, my primary energy healing teacher looked at me one evening and he said, you are such a bundle of nervous energy and stress. Your cat is taking that on for you, and he is processing it in the best way that he can. He is literally expelling it out of his body the safest way that he can, because it's not good, for me to have, and it's certainly not good for him to have. So he would take it in and vomit it out. And as soon as I heard that, I did a couple of techniques, which I'm going to tell you about in a little bit. And Sammy never did that again. that absolutely proved to me that our pets are the ultimate copycats. So let's talk about the various energy that is impacting all animals right now. So again, I could go into great detail on these. There's just not, I just don't want to keep you here forever. But this is what I study. We are all going through what's called a DNA energy upgrade, and it's all for our evolution and all for good, but it doesn't necessarily feel good that we're going through it. So everything in our planet goes through an upgrade. Our computers get upgraded, our phones get upgraded, technology gets upgraded. We're getting an upgrade, hopefully to keep up with some of this unseen technology. So with our energy, the collective upgrade, people just don't feel good. And I'm going to go through some of the symptoms that people are feeling that can impact animals. But overall, when it comes to the collective, look at how the world is behaving right now. They're worried, they're scared, they're fearful, they're angry. We are more divided than ever. There is so much division. Nobody knows what to believe. People are afraid to say anything. And this is the human energy that we have going on. People are physically sick and tired all the time. So, I ask people all the time, physically, do you feel achy and sick and tired? And you talk about it. Most people say, yeah. I tell my friends, oh, I just woke up and I didn't feel good today. Emotionally, are you a roller coaster of emotions? Are you angry? Are you snapping at people? Do you have a hair trigger anger? Are you sad? And do you talk about it with people? Most people say yes. Mentally, are you foggy? Are you having trouble remembering? And are you talking about it? Spiritually, are you questioning everything because you don't know what to believe anymore? And are you talking about it? So you notice the theme here, I'm asking, are you talking about it? Because when we verbalize, it has a very strong frequency, stronger than simply thinking something. When we verbalize something, it taps into the law of attraction, and it is so much stronger that we actually manifest it. So if we are talking about our fear, and we are talking about what's happening financially in the world, and we talk about all of the viruses, and we talk about all of the deaths and everything that's happening, then that's what your world will be comprised of. That's what you will see, and you'll talk more about it. And your pets pick it up. So every time there is a protest, a riot, a terrorist attack, a mass shooting, or war, which the world has been in war for decades, the animals feel it. And when we talk about it, they feel it even more. And they can feel things that happen on the other side of the world. Now, another thing that is concerning that there's a lot of discussion about is this 5G technology. You now see the cell phone companies advertising, hey, we have 5G technology. And I would encourage you to research it. And from what I've researched, it's scrambling our DNA and it's disconnecting all of us from the planet. The only way that we all survive is if we're connected to the planet, and it's disconnecting us. So our pets are influenced by Wi-Fi and electromagnetic frequencies, but also by this 5G technology, because everything is energy. And I think we can all agree that electricity and Wi-Fi and all of this is energy. And it's scrambling it's scrambling the DNA of all of us. We wonder why people are getting sick. A lot of these hot spots for the pandemic are in the 5G super centers. 5G was being tested and laid out and launched in Wuhan, China. That's where this pandemic is said to have started. But when it comes to this 5G technology, what I'm seeing with animals is a lot of birds and other wildlife are very confused. And they're actually flying into cars, and they're flying into windows of people's homes. It's like their directional system is off. I have never seen so many dead animals along the road as I have just this year, from spring and into summer. So 5G, we know, has an influence. Is that the influence? We don't know, but we know it can have an influence because we know that water can be changed. The structure of it can be changed, and animals and people are anywhere from 60 to 80% water. So that's why all of this can be concerning. And then you add on top of all of that, that the planet is evolving. I mean, we just finished a very powerful eclipse season. We are currently in 6 planets being in retrograde. And if you have no idea what any of that means, I did a webinar 2 weeks ago, and you can get access to that if you want. But I would encourage you to watch it, because this is going to be a very powerful year. I mean, it's no surprise that 2020 vision, that this is all happening now. So I'm not going to get too much into that, but I did a whole webinar on that. But our planet actually goes through cycles and has in history flipped the North and the South Pole. We are actually 74,000 years overdue for a North and South Pole flip. And the short story of what that does is that the planet is really stressed right now. If the planet's stressed, we can feel the stress. And then the sun, its North and South poles flip every 11 years. It happened between 2012 and 2013. And that actually can spin off a lot of interesting energy. So we are coming up on potentially another sun pole flip. But there's all of these planetary movements and eclipses and retrogrades. But what is also interesting is what is happening with solar flares or coronal mass ejections. So these solar flares or coronal mass ejections send out plasma from the sun, which is a highly reactive charged energy, and it affects the entire universe. It's not just Earth. I mean, it's impacting Pluto and Neptune and Mars and Venus and Saturn, you name it, all the planets and all the stars and everything. And whoever is facing this ejection from the sun is going to get the most heightened blast of it. It's going to get the most energy. So we are actually in a low solar activity. However, late May, early June, we had one of the biggest solar flares, and it blasted towards Earth. And when you think about what was happening at the end of May, that's when the riots and the protests started. Is there a connection? I personally think so. That's for you to decide. But if it's impacting people, it can also impact pets. And these blasts can cause us to feel anger and agitation and just feel icky and not be able to sleep. It can actually trigger war. It can trigger the death process. And we had this really big, unexpected solar flare in May and another one in June. And we're in a solar minimum right now. This should not be happening, and it did. But wait, there's more. Schumann resonance. If you've ever been on, if you've been on any of my recent webinars, I have been talking about this like crazy. The Schumann resonance is actually the heartbeat of the Earth. The base frequency of the Earth is 7.83 hertz. It's been tracked since 1952. It was discovered by Dr. Schumann, and it's tracked with sensors all over the planet. So it's kind of like having, like if you ever go in for an EEG or an EKG, they put those little pads all over you that detect electrical energy in your body. Imagine those all over the Earth in different places. It's literally measuring the frequency of the Earth. And the base frequency, the 7.83 hertz, is also the frequency of a healthy human body, which is why when we're out in nature and we put our feet on the ground, we feel great. It's why when you walk your dog, if your dog or a horse or a donkey or a pig or any animal that goes outdoors, if they are given the option between cement and the ground, they go for the ground because of the healing energy. So how this frequency works is the Earth has an iron core and it has a silica quartz crust. And those two things together act like a battery. And what charges the battery are lightning strikes. We get about 100 lightning strikes per second, or about 8 million a day, that hit this planet. Isn't that awesome? And those strikes are what keep the battery going. It keeps the frequency in check. It's what keeps our planet in orbit where it's supposed to be. Well, here's the thing. It has been spiking since 2017. It spiked as high as 150 hertz in March of 2017. This was 2 months after the presidential inauguration. So normal frequency, 7.83. It spiked to 150. How do you think that would make people feel? It's like sticking your finger in a socket. You're going to feel fried. And what happened during that time was a huge cyclone hit Australia. There were mass protests in Chile. The US, we did an airstrike on Iran. There were mudslides in Colombia that killed hundreds. And it was the start of kind of the current events that we're in now. So I want to show you the Schumann resonance, because this is what I track every day now. And I want to just take you back to March, because I've noticed that our pets and the pets of people who contact me, their recent behavior started in about April. So think about what started in March, the lockdown. Here in Michigan, we locked down March 13th. I will never forget it. I was actually in my mother's assisted living facility with her when I was told to vacate. It was horrible. And now we moved her to another place and we can see her now, but it almost killed her being locked down. I feel so bad for the elderly people not being able to see their family. But that happened. And so look at this top grid of March, and you see all of those white lines. The wider they are, that means the energy is really spiking for a long period of time. And the deeper, like from the top to the bottom, the deeper the white goes, that's the higher the spike in the energy. So look at what starts really spiking around the time that there's a domino effect of lockdowns and shelter in place. Then go to April. The evening of April 4th, there was a global mass meditation. The energy the next day, because it takes a while for the energy of the earth to absorb it and take it in. The whole day it was spiking. Look at that. Look at that white and how far it goes. Pretty much all of April 5th. Long energy spiking. As soon as I saw that, it confirmed to me that humans have an impact on the planet. We know that the planet impacts us. We know that the moon impacts us, and it impacts our pets. That confirmed that we actually can change the frequency of the planet. Then look at the rest of April. More states going into lockdown, people starting to panic. I mean, look at all of those whites, all of the fear, all of the concern, all of the worry, all of the division. Pretty much every day, massive, massive spikes. Let's go into May. It continues. Actually, let me go back for a second. I want to look at one date here. Yes, okay, I didn't put a bar around it. I want you to go down here to April 18th and 19th. Do you see that huge, long 2-day white spike? That was a 2-day global healing event where it spiked to over 50 hertz for an entire weekend. And this is where people were sending healing to the planet constantly over a 2-day period. And you see how the earth reacted. It spiked. Spikes don't necessarily mean it's bad, but the spikes we can feel. And if people are not taking the right steps, they can react negatively to this, and our pets can too. So let's go into May. What was the big thing that happened at the end of May? Well, we did have some solar flares, but we also had the death of George Floyd, and the protests and the riots started. Look at May 26th, the day after he died. The spike went off the chart, and in fact, you see that little black band? None of the sensors could record. It went so far off the chart because the planet started protesting. June 10th, let's go to June. June 10th, we had a major solar flare. So look at the 11th, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th. You can see the spike in the energy. You see spikes all along. June 30th, 29th and 30th, there was another global mass meditation that spilled over into July. I mean, you just see this spike after spike after spike. We're just not even getting a break. We feel it and our pets feel it. So I just wanted to show you those graphs so that you could see what the planet's doing. I mean, this is not woo-woo. This is science. I mean, this is absolutely being tracked scientifically. So this is what it feels like for you. You may feel icky, like you don't feel sick, but you don't feel well, and you don't know why. There may be some autoimmune flare-ups. You may feel wired at night and tired in the morning, cranky and angry and snappish, just kind of a hair trigger anger. You may find more anxiety in dogs too because of that. You may feel helpless and lethargic and immobilized, like you can't even find yourself doing the things that used to bring you joy, or you struggle with doing your work and maybe you're sleepless. So all sorts of emotions, going back and forth with people that our pets can pick up. And this is like what it feels for our pets. Agitation. I am finding so many pets are restless. They are getting upset over things that never upset them in the past. So for example, I mean, if you have, followed me at all on social media, you've probably seen my 3 cats, Rudy, Stella, and Dobby. Rudy has been getting upset over an outdoor neighbor cat walking by, to the point where he will beat up Dobby and Stella because the neighbor cat happened to walk in front of his big glass door. Rudy never did that before. Never did that before. He's been chasing Stella and Dobby up the stairs, and it just sounds like NASCAR. I mean, they can't even get their nails gripped into my hardwood floors. I hear them ripping around the corner, and Rudy is chasing them. And he doesn't seem angry, but it's very predatory. I'm hearing a lot of infighting among animals who used to get along, who used to be best friends. Brothers who love each other are now fighting each other. There was a horrible situation last month in June here in Lansing, Michigan, where a family with 4 dogs, 3 of the dogs ganged up on a German Shepherd. And I mean, the dog is alive. I don't know how. Basically tore his throat out. I don't know how he's alive, but the veterinary school was able to piece him back together. I don't know what his long-term prognosis is, but these were 4 dogs that have lived together for years. And all of a sudden, without warning or provocation, they ganged up on this dog and almost killed him and traumatized the owner in the process. So these sort of fights, the attacking, the chasing, the biting that's coming out of nowhere is happening. Heightened anxiety. I mean, I'm calling it temporary insanity, where pets are just doing the most bizarre things. And it's like, are you insane? What was that? They're extra clingy. They're whiny and more vocal, like they're trying to tell us that something is going on. They're hiding more, and you have no idea. Why are you hiding? There's not a thunderstorm, there's no fireworks, there's nobody's here, the doorbell didn't ring. They're just hiding, or they're trying to escape. I have talked with more people who said that they don't know how, but their pets got outside. It's like they're trying to get out into nature, especially cats. Like they know they need to connect to the earth. But some pets are lethargic. They're not taking joy in things that once brought them joy. like they've lost interest in a toy or playing or interacting. They're just kind of isolating themselves. They're sleeping a lot. They're depressed. Some are vomiting. All 3 of my cats have done this the last couple of months. My cats generally don't have hairballs. I mean, I've had Rudy for 7.5 years. I've had Stella for 2 years. I've had Dobby for only 9 months. They've never had fur balls, and in the last 3 months, I have never handled so many, and they're really coughing up fur balls. And it's like, what is going on? Like, why are you shedding more? But more vomiting, even if it's not a fur ball, there's just a lot more vomiting. And when you can rule out food or a medical issue, this is like what my cat Sammy did, taking on the stress and expelling it the safest way they know how. So, if you have a pet that's vomiting, I know you wouldn't get upset with them, but just understand that they're processing the energy the best that they can. For some cats, they may start having accidents outside the litter box because spraying is energetically them being pissed off. I mean, literally pissed off about something, and the energy, they're taking it in and they are spraying it out the way that they can. But I'm also finding pets are just suddenly having arthritic symptoms, even young pets, trouble getting around, achiness. You can just tell that almost overnight or in a matter of weeks, it's like, wow, you're acting like you aged 10 years. So I'd be curious to know in the chat if your pets have experienced any of these. I'd really be interested in knowing that. So, all right, what do we do? Because this sounds pretty darn depressing, doesn't it? There's a lot that we can do. I mean, there's a lot. I'm just going to give you a couple of ideas. The big thing for your pets, your indoor pets, is to transmute the energy around your house and in your house. If you have outdoor pets, if you have horses or donkeys or goats or potbelly pigs or chickens, you can actually transmute the energy around your property. One of the best things that I like to do is to take black tourmaline crystals, big ones, like the size of your palm, and put them not only at the 4 corners of your property, but also inside your house in the primary 4 corners of your main floor, like your ground floor. It doesn't have to be the basement, but your ground, your main level, the 4 outside 4 corners, but inside your house. Put black tourmaline. This grounds your house energetically, just like you have a grounding wire outside that grounds your house to the ground. This will energetically ground your property. If you know Reiki or any other sort of energy healing, activate it in your palms and then beam that energy, like walk around your property and create, like if you've ever watched Harry Potter, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. In the final movie, all of those teachers, they were putting a protective bubble around Hogwarts during the final battle of Hogwarts. That's what you're doing with your hands. You're literally beaming a protective bubble around your property. So that's one thing that you can do to transmute the energy in your property and around the outside of your house. Now, inside your house, it's important to clear the energy. And I mean, this is important to do anytime, but really now. Open your windows. I mean, we just went through a traumatic winter with the start of the pandemic. So energetically, we've got to get the energy out. So as often as you can, open your windows. One thing that I like to do is take a smudge stick. So this is dried sage. Sometimes it has lavender or sweetgrass in it, and you light it and you walk all over your house and just put the smudge smoke all over your house. Make sure your windows are open so that that energy, it can clear any negative energy and send it right out the windows. Or if you have crystal singing bowls, I like to take my crystal singing bowls and just walk around my house and play them. If you have chimes, take your chimes around the house and around your property and play them. Just the other day, I sat in my yard I have a big crystal singing bowl that's attuned to the heart chakra, that note of the heart chakra. And I just sat outside and played it. And it was interesting, all the birds and the chipmunks and the squirrels that came around. I wish I could have gotten a picture of it. It was amazing. But also diffuse your therapeutic grade essential oils, not fragrance oils, not plug-ins, not candles, not incense. Your therapeutic grade essential oils, those will clear the air. If you don't have a sage stick, take sage oil and lavender oil and put that in your diffuser, or take the white angelica oil and put that in your diffuser. That will clear the energy, but open your windows so that the energy can leave. And then just have crystals everywhere. Have crystals everywhere. Honestly, it doesn't matter what the crystals are. The bigger, the better. Just have them all over the place. That will help clear the energy in your home. Now, the third thing is to connect with Earth, because we need to work on grounding ourselves while raising our frequency, because that'll help your pets. So here, we got a comment here. My senior cat follows me around constantly like she's lost. Yes, so that actually goes back to what I said about this 5G technology and the Wi-Fi. It's scrambling the DNA, but it can also scramble the brain, and they lose their sense of direction. She could feel lost. It would be very interesting to turn your Wi-Fi off, like at night. And, you know, if there's a certain time of day that your cat is doing this, try turning your Wi-Fi off just for a couple of hours and see what happens. That would be a very interesting test. So connecting with the earth, this is really important, especially when you feel anxious or jittery or fearful or unsettled, when you just don't feel well, you don't, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you just feel off. Get outside, put your feet on the earth. It absolutely will help. It's a scientific concept called earthing, where you are getting an ion exchange with the earth, and it's very healing. It's anti-inflammatory, it lowers your blood pressure. Just Google the benefits of earthing, and you'll be doing it every day. This is why this year I've never made so many trips to Lake Michigan in my life. Lake Michigan is basically a miniature ocean. It is massive. And I'm very drawn there, and I'm going every week because of this connection that we need. But also quiet your mind. Find 5 minutes a day to quiet your mind. And if that means meditation, go for it. Or if that means go for a walk and leave your cell phone at home. Don't take the Wi-Fi technology with you, especially if you're walking your dog. Don't do it. Connect with the earth. Go on a walking meditation. Go in the woods. Sit outdoors. Garden. For me, it's pulling weeds. I'm a full-time weed puller this time of year. It's very therapeutic. I get annoyed, but it's very therapeutic because you're connecting with the earth. And then brush off your energy. This is what I did to stop my cat Sammy from vomiting when I would come home stressed. So take your hands, and if you have ever done dry brushing on your skin, where you start at your heart and you brush away from your heart, you're literally brushing the dead skin off of yourself. You're going to do the same thing, but you're brushing the energy. And you're just going to be about 2 to 3 inches off of your body, and take your flat palms and just brush down. Start at the top of your head and brush down. Do it down the back of your head, down your back, the back of your legs, down your arms, both of your arms, and just keep brushing and brushing and brushing. Brush it down into the ground. Do this outside. Don't do it in your house. When I did this one simple technique, Sammy never vomited again. It's amazing how much energy will latch onto you. that you have no idea is there. And you're bringing it home, and our pets are extra sensitive to energy, and they're picking it up. So it's not even your energy. It's taking a ride. The other thing is to speak life. So I was saying earlier, are you talking about the pandemic and the number of deaths? You're either pro-mask or you're anti-mask. You're pro-vaccine or anti-vaccine. You're talking about the protests, you're talking about the riots. That is not speaking life at all. That is actually speaking death energy, because this is all angry energy. This is the angry energy that is attempting to bubble up for one last hurrah as we transition into the age of Aquarius. That is in and of itself a whole different presentation. But we are moving into a very loving, motherly, Woodstock, Mother Nature, let's all put flowers in our hair and sing Kumbaya. That is the energy we're moving into. This angry energy is taking one last breath, and it's packing a wallop. When you speak life, that is so much more powerful than anything that you think. So even when you're fearful and anxious, you verbally talk yourself up. So if you, please don't watch the news. Like, seriously, please don't watch the news. There's nothing you can do about what's happening on the news, and we don't even know what's true anymore. So just don't watch it. But if you get worried about something, talk yourself up. So let's say you're really afraid about your job. So just start saying, you know what? Right now I'm good. Right now I have a job. I have money coming in. I'm very thankful for that. I like the work that I do, or I like this aspect of work that I do. I like this person at work. Maybe I like my desk, or I can have crystals on my desk, or my essential oil diffuser, or I can work from home. Speak gratitude, speak life. You will be amazed at how this will alter your energy, and your pets will pick it up in your speaking life. The next thing is crystals. Oh my gosh, crystals everywhere for everyone. The more, the better. But here are 2 crystals that are very, very important right now. Like I said, black tourmaline all throughout your house, the 4 corners of the inside of your house. And if you want to 4-corner your property, that would be a good thing. But shungite is also another great crystal, because both of these help to transmute electromagnetic frequencies. Transmute is not blocking it so that it bounces and ricochets elsewhere. It's taking it in and transforming it into a positive energy. And there's actually been a lot of scientific studies about shungite doing this, because it's a carbon-based crystal. So get black tourmaline, get shungite, get buckets of it, bring it home. Put your black tourmaline and your shungite with every piece of technology. I have those crystals on top of my Wi-Fi router, sitting between me and my computer right now. I have a black tourmaline sticker patch on my cell phone. I have black tourmaline in front of my television, on top of a plug-in clock. Anything that you are plugging in with technology, especially Wi-Fi, get it surrounded by black tourmaline and shungite. And get black tourmaline and shungite on your nightstand at night. Never leave your Wi-Fi on your phone on at night, especially if you have your phone on your nightstand. Like, my phone is my alarm clock. I put it in airplane mode. I completely shut off the Wi-Fi. And then I stick a black tourmaline on top of it to transmute it. That'll help you tremendously. These are the important crystals to have in your home right now. And then essential oils. We must use therapeutic grade, unadulterated essential oils with pets, because they have the purest constituents and the purest frequency. And because the animal kingdom communicates with the plant kingdom, and toxins used in the essential oil process can interrupt that communication. This is why the oils that I'm going to talk about next are only Young Living. I can only recommend Young Living. If you take this information and translate it to another brand, I cannot guarantee that it'll be safe for your pets. So if you use another brand, that is your choice. That is your free will to do that. But I ethically, morally, and legally, as an attorney, can only recommend Young Living as being safe for pets. Now, when we're working with essential oils, and I talked about that we need to ground and raise our vibration. Lower frequency oils work on the physical body, and high frequency oils work on the emotional and the spiritual aspect. So you can find the frequency of the oils, just Google them. They're all over the internet. All right, let's start talking about the oils to help with the new energies. You're all going to get a recording of this. You're going to get the link to the private recording, but feel free to take screenshots of this so that you have this immediately. So here's the thing. This afternoon, I pendulum tested what oils our pets need right now. And I put the intention out that I wanted the top 10. Came back with 21. And I didn't even test them all. I gave up at 21. I'm like, 21's a lot. I'm giving you all of these because you may not have all of these. And so if you just have one of these, that's great. You use these. So if you have questions about how to safely use oils with pets, like do you diffuse? Is it topical? Is it ingesting? Get my book, The Oily Pet. I walk you through how to do it, all the safe practices, because I'm not going into that tonight. What I want to do is I want to give you a little bit about each of these oils. I have no idea what time it is. Oh my goodness. Okay. We are coming up on an hour. So let's talk about calming the energy around us, calming all of that anger and fear and stress and worry and riots and protests and war. And all of that has been happening in our world this year. Let's calm it all down. Here are your oils. I'm going to give you some of the energy behind them. So Idaho Grand Fir used to be called Idaho Balsam Fir, and it's now Idaho Grand Fir. And what this does is it deeply grounds the body. And it helps those who get so out of balance that they literally go out of body. And will say stuff like, my dog is not acting like himself, or that person is not acting like themselves. They went out of body. They need Idaho Grand Fir to get back into their body. What it does is it stabilizes the unstable energy by anchoring us and our pets into the earth. It is a beautiful oil to diffuse. You put a floral oil with it, like jasmine or ylang-ylang, or a citrus oil like lemon or tangerine or lime. Oh, it is divine, absolutely divine. Idaho Grand Fir, I cannot say enough good things about. Lavender balances all of the chakras on the body, and it aligns the body for equilibrium and gets it into alignment with the planet. Roman chamomile is all about inner calmness and serenity, peace, love, getting beyond negatively charged events, like everything that's around us right now is negatively charged. Roman chamomile is good for shock and grief. Collectively, as a planet, we are grieving what the pandemic is doing. We are grieving the loss of life. Pets are grieving. Everybody is grieving. This grief hit me like a rock last Thursday. I did a Facebook Live about it. And I even put it on my YouTube page so you can find it. But Roman chamomile is also an angelic receptivity sort of oil. It is divine and it is beautiful. Vetiver, this is what I call the pass out oil. When you just need to pass out, you need your pet to just calm the heck down, calm your butt down. Vetiver is your oil. I also call it the stop the damn fireworks oil or the full moon is making me edgy oil. This is the ultimate oil to shut you down. And sometimes we need that. Sometimes we all just need to go into our blanket fort and take a nap. now, immediately, and that'll do it. That's what Vetiver does. Now for blends, the grounding blend is for those who feel lost by the energy, because when we're disconnecting as a protective mechanism and pets are disconnecting as a protective mechanism, we need to reground, because we need to stay connected with the planet so that we are going through the highs and the lows of all these energy spikes, because that's when we can handle it. When we become disconnected, we can't handle it. So grounding is also good for pets who may be disconnecting from us. Maybe they're hiding, they're not interacting, they're lethargic, they're depressed, they're disconnected. Grounding will help reconnect them. And they may be disconnected because we're disconnected. Harmony is another good one because it balances body, mind, and spirit. It resets us back to our instincts. It balances all the chakras, and it resets us back to having harmonious relationships. So if pets and people are fighting in your home for no apparent reason, just start diffusing harmony. Let's see, what else? Peace and calming. This actually chills out the energy in any space. It calms the energy around. So if your pets go crazy when the doorbell rings, or a visitor knocks on the door, or somebody walks by, or they see a dog, or they see a squirrel, it's for highly sensitive pets and people. You know, pets and people who are highly reactive to the energy around them, or just shut down emotionally. That's what peace and calming does. It chills out that energy. It just cuts the energy. Present time. So we can become disconnected to the Earth's energy and feel really unwell. So can our pets. Present time is like hitting the reset button and getting our feet back on the ground. Sacred Mountain. This is a blend of tree and floral oils. So it's a grounding and an ascending oil, which we need to do both at the same time. We need to ground and ascend our energy. It releases negative energy. It opens the energy flow through the body of pets and people. It helps to soothe fear and hold firm during a crisis. So while literally the earth is just going bonkers underneath our feet, this holds us firm during a crisis, like a mountain, like a sacred mountain. I call this the Sedona vortex oil, because you feel like you're in an energy vortex and you are just grounded within those red rock mountains in Sedona. It is so soothing. And then Valor, this is the oil of courage. And we use Valor because it helps us get to the bare bones of what is wrong and helps us figure out what is setting us off and what is setting off our pets. So it's a really good oil to use for that. So those are all the calming oils. Now let's talk about raising our energy. Let's rise above what's happening. Let's rise up with all the Schumann resonance spikes happening on the planet. So the oils that I love, 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 love. Higher unity. When there's a lot of drama happening with pets and people, this is the oil to use. This is the oil that I like to use when you find that people or pets are just trying to one-up each other in power struggles. It's like, knock it off. Put your higher unity in the diffuser. The One Heart oil, this is new, is a very high vibrational oil. It helps to strengthen the human-animal bond during these energetically difficult times. So if you feel that your pet has been isolating, or you are isolating, or your pet has been hiding, or just disinterested in things, or maybe you've been doing the same thing, this is going to reconnect you with your heart, your pet with their heart, and connect you both together. It's going to move you into the frequency to open your heart, to feel love for all, which can be really challenging right now in a world that is so divided, so divided. Nobody's agreeing on anything. This is going to help you with that energy. It's going to help move you into service to others. It's going to give a brighter outlook and to find your center. This is a tremendous oil, tremendous. I cannot get enough of it. Sacred Angel. Another high vibrational blend that blends white angelica and sacred mountain together. And what it does is it helps you to release the worry, the stress, the negativity, everything that is happening around you, to make sure that it doesn't latch onto you and then latch onto your pet. It helps you feel protected during a crisis, and we are in a crisis. And then white angelica is protection from negativity and energy vampires. It is what I call the warm blanket oil. It is exactly what that photo on the screen is. That's what white angelica does. It wraps you up so that you feel held and comforted. Now, I mentioned that pets are having vomiting issues. They're struggling with all sorts of digestive issues. They just have things coming out of both ends. The oils that I have found that are very helpful are Copaiba Vitality, Digest Vitality, and Lavender Vitality. So you can rub these on, the inside of the mouth, on the gum. You can topically apply them over the tummy. You can put it in a capsule and have them swallow it. Don't put it in water. Don't put oils in water. That's not a good thing. But Copaiba is very soothing. Energetically, it just kind of deflames the situation. Digest helps with everything digestive from entry to exit. Lavender, very calming, very soothing. But then Ningxia Red, Ningxia Red is tremendous, and it just balances the whole body out. I squirt it in my cat's wet food and then run a little water over it so that it mixes in. It doesn't really mix with hard food, so you got to use it with wet food. But Ningxia Red is very important to our pets right now. Now, for the pets who are experiencing kind of this sudden stiffness where it just seems like they almost have arthritis, like they're just having trouble moving, Copaiba and Panaway rub together on the areas that are feeling and looking stiff. Now, if it's a pet under 25 pounds, you want to dilute it in a carrier oil. I go through all of this in the Oily Pet book. Pets over 25 pounds, you can put 1 drop on straight. But then also the Agiles capsule, totally safe to break it open and sprinkle it on food. Just look at how much is required for a human. Figure that a human average weight is what? I don't know, 150 pounds. So take those 2 capsules that are recommended, break it down into how many pounds your pet is. For a cat, it takes me 7 days to go through an Agiles capsule. So those are some really good things to help with that. Now, to boost mood, this is for the pets that have lost interest and maybe they're lethargic, acting depressed. Maybe they have lost someone in their life. Someone has passed away, a person or a pet. Frankincense works on the grief meridian in the lungs, which can bring up so many emotions. And when you think of what the pandemic is targeting, it's targeting the lungs. This is why our planet is grief-stricken right now, because it's targeting that grief energy. So frankincense is tremendous. The other day when I just felt this overwhelming heaviness and sadness, it wasn't even mine. I knew it wasn't mine. It's like, oh my gosh, I just feel it for the planet. I couldn't even get out of bed. I started diffusing frankincense with cassia oil, and boy, did that pull me out of it immediately. It was amazing. But rose is also fantastic for deep heart healing, for deeply healing trauma and grief. It is phenomenal, expensive, worth every penny. But also Inner Child Blend. This lifts up the energy to kind of lighten it so that you feel more free and childlike. Really good for pets who are feeling kind of down in the dumps. And Trauma Life, because we feel all of the chaotic, angry, fearful energy, all of the protests, all of the riots, the violence, the death. And when we are traumatized, it creates energy blocks in the body, and that can create big big problems down the road. So this oil, Trauma Life, helps to release the things that trigger us. It releases the anger. It releases the sorrow for us and our pets. So it's really important to just create a sacred space for your pets, whether it's oils or crystals or doing grounding work, clearing the energy, all the things that you can do. Find something that resonates with you and do it consistently. Make sure that your pets are really taken care of, but mostly take care of yourself, because they do feed off of you. They are connected to you energetically. And if you are not balanced, they're not going to be balanced. They're a mirror into how you're doing. So, all right. Couple last things. If you are really interested in crystals, I took 2 of my classes online for the first time in May. Thank you, pandemic. I'm bringing them back. They really went well. I was quite surprised. Everybody loved them. So I have crystal healing for animals. It's an all-day class. Okay, these are 9:30 to like 5:30 p.m. Eastern, or 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. So basically all day on Saturday, August 22nd, all day Monday on August 24th. For the animal class, I give a discount if you work with animals or volunteer with animals. And for the basic class, the early registration discount is still happening until July 24th. So you can find that at manifestedharmony.com. And then here are my upcoming webinars that deal with lifestyle, health, and essential oils, and you can register on my website. So, all right, I am going to look back through the chat, but before I end the recording here, would love to stay connected. If you have questions, you know where to find me. I do consultations. Do a lot of consulting about the energy to help people feel their best and to help their pets feel their best. So feel free to stay connected, reach out if you need help. So at this point, I'm going to end the recording. And for those of you who are here live, feel free to ask your questions, but thank you for tuning in.